Okay, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Complete Sports Media's podcast. I'm your host, Darren Campbell. Join you here on a Monday, and holy cow, are we ever close to the Christmas break? The countdown is on. We're into the last week, and man, can't wait. Holy cow. Geez, it's hard to go to work right now. It's hard to put in the days when you know that holidays looming. But anyway, we had a awesome weekend, so much sports. We're gonna have a really fun time chatting sports with Jason Cameron. Thanks, buddy, for doing this. How are you feeling going into this last week?
I feel good, anxious. You know what? I just want to get this week over with. I'm gonna be honest. I just want to get this week over with, and I look forward to sleeping in for many days in a row before we have to go back. Like that's actually what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to that, and also food.
Yeah,
Food.
always a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, two things that I'm looking forward to too. It's going to be great. Yeah, so how was your weekend? Did you get up to very much? Did you watch a lot of sports?
Weekend was good. Watched some basketball on Friday night, and then was over at a mutual friend's place to watch the fights.
Nice.
Our friend Keith, he was gracious enough to have me over at his place. Cooked a great dinner. Maui ribs,
Wow.
so good. Oh, I was over the moon over that, and we watched a good night of fights. Good night of fights.
Oh, cool. Yeah, good. Yeah, my weekend was sports, and more sports, but it did kick off on Friday with Kevin Hart, and that was a great show. He brought his Plastic Cup Boys there, and they were the opening act. They had a lot of hilarious takes on life in the world, and then Kevin Hart came on. They were pretty late though, and on a Friday after putting in 60 hours a week, man, you started getting pretty tired. The guy came on, their guy Joey Wells was sort of the MC host guy, and he said, "Hey, I gotta apologize to you guys for coming on about an hour later than we were supposed to." And he said, hey, actually, hang on. I'm only gonna apologize to the 45 and over crowd. All you young ones don't give a shit. If it starts at midnight, you'll still be here partying, having fun. But you know, a lot of the older crowd that are coming here probably like, holy crap, this is getting close to my bedtime. What the hell's going on? But he said, hey, it's Saturday. You guys can sleep in, you can have your weekend ahead and go at it. But there was times where I was fading a little bit during the performance, and I hate that. I'm the worst at falling asleep in movies, games, shows. It really started bugging me, and that was the only drawback I had of the whole night.
That's too bad that they were delayed, because I understand. I get it. You put in that much time during the week at work. You want things to be on time if you're going out after.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. You said you saw him twice already before when he came through town before.
Yes, I have seen him twice. I saw him the first time that he's ever been in Vancouver, and he was fantastic. Well, he was fantastic both times.
Nice.
He was absolutely fantastic, stellar. The guys that came on, like his crew that came on before, and the host, they did a great job.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah, it was great. I'm super glad we went. It was a fantastic, fun night, and we couldn't have asked for better. And then Saturday, wow, what a busy weekend of sports I had. I got up early and I watched the World Cup. I went downtown and I met a friend of ours, Joe Hinks. Him and all his English boys were down supporting England in the World Cup game against France. They took over a huge section of the Shark Club, and they started chanting and singing and dancing and partying, and it was awesome, man. It was a blast there. I'm so glad I made the journey down into town early in the morning to go. I got a little video that shows you the festivities when England scored. Harry Kane stepped up to the penalty spot and scored a goal for them. It was pretty sweet. Check this out.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was super fun. Tons of quite the blast. We yeah, we're partying and celebrating. Unfortunately, England did lose 2-1 to France in the end. Harry Kane had a second penalty kick opportunity in the game that he blasted way over the crossbar. And oh man, I feel so sorry for the guy because he was their best player. He scored their only goal. He had a few opportunities to score and was really pressing. And man, that one shot, if he would have got that, we would. I think it would have went into extra time and good chance England was going to win. They were the better squad. France scored on really their two best and biggest opportunities, but yeah, that's the way soccer works, and it was too bad. But man, we had a blast down there. It was super fun.
What time were you there? What time was the game on at?
The game actually started at 11, so 10
Oh,
something.
okay.
I was there. Yeah, not the early ones that were some of this World Cup, but yeah, a reasonable time.
Okay, cool. Because I'm like, it looks like it's light out, so that's not 5 a.m. So that's cool. That's good. It's good.
Yeah, no, there's been some bars I've been to during this World Cup run where the sun was not up yet and trying to get into the festivities, but it was a reasonable hour anyway. And yeah, as soon as I left the World Cup, I got invited to a fencing World Cup event down at the convention center. Went down there and absolutely had an amazing time watching the best fencers in the world. A friend of mine is a fencer. He represented Canada all over the world, went to the Olympics on behalf of Canada, and has invited me to these events before. And I decided to take him up on the offer on Saturday, and I'm really glad I did. We had some Canadians competing, and they did really well, and it was fun. It was a really, really cool afternoon.
Oh, that's awesome. And that's it's unique to go and see like a fencing competition because I've never seen one of those before. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it was something very unique and fun. And usually they have it at the Richmond Oval. I've been there before for the event, but they some reason they couldn't hold it at the Oval this time. Down at the convention center, still really great, a lot of fun, and it was good to watch with somebody that really knows the sport super well. He could give me a lot of inside information, who to watch for, what to look for. And yeah, it was very fun when the Canadians were doing well. The crowd was really behind them, and yeah, it was fun. I'm glad we went. And then off to the UFC. So I had soccer, fencing, and fighting all on the Saturday. Tons of sports were on all the TVs around, but really looking forward to this UFC 282 and what an event that turned out to be. A lot of great fights on it, and can't wait to cover that with you. Some controversy, some guys that had some very significant wins, but yeah, it was a fun event. You must have enjoyed the card.
Yeah, I did, and like you said, there was definitely some controversy there, some questionable judging, for sure. So yeah, I look forward to breaking that down later on.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Yeah. And the World Cup is coming to a close this week. There'll be games on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday, Sunday. And looking forward to some of the amazing action. It's pretty shocking that Morocco's made it all the way. They are the Cinderella team of this World Cup. They're facing France. So they're in tough with them. And then Argentina, Croatia should be great. I've seen some games at the Croatian Cultural Center during this World Cup, and oh man, did they ever know how to celebrate and party. It's incredible. You've been to the Croatian Cultural Center before on commercial, have you?
Long time ago. I've only been there the one time, but yeah, I've been there. It's a very good venue, especially for soccer.
Yeah, it's super neat and fun. And yeah, I'm hoping to get a chance to go down there this week, but into our last week of work. So yeah, let's do it. But week 14 of the NFL, tons going on. There was a big signing by the Dallas Cowboys today. They signed their wide receiver they've been looking forward to. Did you hear the news?
T.Y. Hilton?
Yeah, T.Y. Hilton. They got him.
Yeah.
Not OBJ, TYH. That's their sort of backup plan. I heard OBJ when he came in and did these walkthroughs and did these meet and greets. He kind of divulged that he wasn't 100% over his knee injury yet.
Yeah.
And so a lot of teams are still like, maybe we'll hold off. Serious knee injury he suffered during the Super Bowl, and it was only in February, so it's just not quite 100% yet.
Well, and also too, he did mention that he wants to be available just for the playoffs anyways. So basically what he's also saying is, I want to play for a playoff-bound team.
Sure.
A team that actually has a chance, right? So I get it. I understand what he's doing. But at the same time, I understand why teams are like, well, if he's not over the knee injury yet,
I don't think so. Yeah, it seems strange, though. You'd want a guy that could get himself back into game shape, get ready, used to the scheme, get figured out the personnel that you got to play into. So I don't know. We'll see if he comes back or not, if somebody signs him. But T.Y. Hilton, great move by the Cowboys. Get a 10-year veteran. He spent many seasons he spent his whole career with Indy. Led the league in pass catching in 2016 with 1,500 yards. He's had 5 1,000-yard plus receiving seasons. And he's a sure-handed receiver that really could be another weapon to open up the field for them.
No, that was a great signing. Great signing by them. And also, too, he's healthy. Most importantly, he's healthy. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. The Cowboys lost a prominent tackle today and said that he's done for the season. We'll talk about that when we get to the Cowboys game. There was a lot of injuries in this Monday night or tonight so far already. Not good. I couldn't believe how many guys went down early with injuries. Kyler Murray, third play of the game, just fell without even contact. And they always say that's one of the worst injuries, when you just suddenly something just snaps on you, like your Achilles or a knee injury. And he looked pretty upset as he was being carted off the field.
Yeah, this is just me taking a guess. I'm guessing here, but it looked like something to do with his right knee, because he looked like he planted with his right knee, and then all of a sudden all the power went out of his leg. You could just see it drag as they put it in slow motion. I'm like, oh, and you're right. Like, non-contact injuries, bad.
Yeah, pretty bad. Yeah. The Patriots have just taken a 19-13 lead. Patriots are 6-6 and really in the hunt, chasing down a playoff spot. Cardinals 4-8. Looks like they'll have to wait till next year. Colt McCoy's looked pretty good since he's come in. But DeAndre Hopkins just got a touchdown. DeAndre Hopkins fumbled the ball, and the Patriots recovered it for a touchdown. And with a extra point, they'll be up by 7 again. Yeah, back and forth this game. It's been very, very tight. Just trading field goals and touchdowns. Couple of touchdown runs, one by Harris for the Patriots, one by Connor for the Cards, and still a lot of time left. 5.5 minutes left in the third quarter, so we'll give an update in a little bit.
Yeah, it's just horrible that Arizona just signed Kyler to that huge contract, and now he's probably, I'm assuming he's done for the season.
Yeah, it sure doesn't look good. Yeah, it's very tough to see that. I feel sorry for him and for the organization. Yeah, because they did put a lot of money at him, and this is tough. But this has been a really down year for the Cards. 4-8. I don't think a lot of people expected them to be this bad this year.
Oh no, I know I didn't. I expected more from them this year, and unfortunately, it just never came together for them.
Couldn't do it. Yeah. Okay, why don't we just blast right into it? We'll start with the NFC East and start with the Eagles game. Eagles are now 12-1, first team to clinch a playoff spot, and this team just will not stop this juggernaut. Jalen Hurts, phenomenal game. Miles Sanders, another great game. AJ Brown looking awesome as usual, and a 48-22 dismantling of the G-men.
They just beat them down. They beat them down. They're looking like the ultimate juggernauts, especially in the NFC. And their running attack is just no joke. Like, I think they have the best running attack in football. If they don't, they shouldn't. And Emmanuel Sanders was unbelievable. 17 carries, 144 yards, 2 touchdowns. And like you said, Hurts was amazing again. Another 217 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, and then 7 carries for 77 yards, averaging 11 yards per carry.
Yeah,
with a touchdown.
Yeah, geez. Yeah, to me, he's the front runner for MVP this year, and just guiding this offense so incredibly. He was such a running mobile quarterback coming into this year, but now he's in the pocket and he's finding his weapons, and I'm super impressed. Every time I watch him, he's the full package.
Yeah, he's the full package, and he knows when to run and he knows when to pass. Yeah. Like that's the most important thing. He doesn't panic when he's in the pocket.
Yeah,
like he knows that if he still has time, or if he just has to spin out just a slight little bit so he can get the pass off, or if he has to run, he runs, and then he's supremely dangerous when he does.
Yeah, it's great, and their defense is amazing too. They sacked Daniel Jones 7 times. Really, we're pressuring him all day. Daniel Jones is another really great quarterback. I love watching him play. He's a total package too. But when you just don't have any time and you're getting pressured that much, it's really hard to be able to win a game and put drives together.
No, it's almost impossible, because you're just going, oh, it's just an avalanche of people coming at me. Wait, you guys want to block a little bit? No, okay, that's cool.
So the Giants with the loss fell to 4th in the division, 7-5-1, and it's going in the wrong direction for them. Jalen Hurts is the first quarterback to have 10+ touchdowns in 2 straight seasons. The Eagles have 3 guys with 10+ touchdowns now this year: Sanders and AJ Brown. This is the first time that the Eagles have had a 10 touchdown running back since LaShawn McCoy in 2014, and the first time since they've had a 10 touchdown receiver since 2014 as well. And I'm just this team, to me, I'd put money down right now on the Eagles winning it all. I don't think anybody can beat them if they can stay 100% healthy.
If they can stay 100% healthy, I think they have a fantastic chance of winning the Super Bowl this year, because it looks like they have all the pieces. Their defense is fantastic. Their offense is juggernaut. Man, they're looking great right now.
Yeah. And they go to Chicago to play the Bears on Sunday. Bears are 3-10, so I would count them at 13-1. They play the game because you never know, but I would put some money down on them if I was a betting man as well. And the Giants have their rematch against the Commanders. They played last week, and they that will be the battle. They're both 7-5-1. I think either one of those teams wins this game. They're making the playoffs. The other team is going to be really tough to try to secure a playoff spot.
Yeah, well, we mentioned it like last weekend where this is going to count. This is going to matter the most.
Yeah.
So whatever team comes out on top, that's the team that's probably going to make the playoffs for sure.
Dallas Cowboys have been neck and neck with the Eagles all season, really having a great year. But can you believe the trouble they had with the worst team in the NFL? Their cross-state rivals, the Houston Texans, almost pulled off a fantastic upset. If they would have been able to punch it in the end zone on that fourth down play, they win the game. But somehow the Dallas Cowboys defense stopped them. 98 yards later, they score the touchdown and go ahead and win the game. But I don't think nobody definitely predicted that it would be this close. And Houston almost pulled off the crazy upset.
Yeah, they almost had him. Luckily, the Cowboys defense stepped up when they really needed to, and they got the stop that they needed. And Prescott let them down, and they managed to score the touchdown. But, I'm sure they were like the Cowboys sideline was sweating bullets over this one, man. It was close.
That was a shock. Really a shock. Tony Pollard was great as usual. He had a couple touchdowns, one on the ground, one through the air. Not huge yardage, but good enough, getting a couple touchdowns. Ezekiel Elliott was good as well, got a touchdown, this team's firing on offense. But it was really quite surprising how close it was. Dak's 2 picks really hurt the Cowboys and kept this a lot tighter than anybody expected. Houston used this funny approach with Davis Mills and Jeff Driscoll back and forth. Driscoll didn't get as many passing attempts, but he was out there for quite a bit, and he was the guy that got stopped on that really crucial fourth down play.
Yeah, that was the thing that I thought was a little bit odd of a play call.
Yeah.
I thought, wouldn't you go with your top guy in that situation as opposed to the other guy? Like I didn't understand it.
Yeah, it was a very weird play call, that's for sure. And I don't know why you wouldn't go with the running back or your quarterback to toss it to somebody. But your second guy, trying to get him to punch it in. It was a weird play call. But Houston's a weird organization, had a horrible year, and somehow they messed it up. They had the win in their grasp, and it was torn right out of their hands.
Well, I guess there's a reason why they've only won one football game, right? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, so Dallas goes to Jacksonville to play the Jags, who are playing really good football right now, and that should be a great game. The Texans host the Chiefs, so tough matchup again for them. This is Dallas' 4th straight win, and they keep on rolling. And then we've got the Commanders, the only team that we haven't talked to yet. They had a bye this past week, and they host the Giants, as I mentioned before. That'll be a great battle. I can't wait for that one. 2 teams that have been playing each other every year, a couple times a year for the entirety of football, and that should be a great grudge match.
Yeah, it's going to be a fantastic game. They know what's on the line. Both teams, they're going to try to take each other's heads off. They're going to be fiery, man.
Yeah, it's going to be good. Yeah. Okay, NFC West. Let's turn to the 49ers. Huge win, Mr. Irrelevant. Tom Brady in his 376 start against Drew Purdy in his very first start ever. And of course, the rookie is the only guy to ever beat Tom Brady and get the victory. And this wasn't even close. This was a complete blowout.
Yeah, yeah. They destroyed them. Like you said, it wasn't even close. Um, it was kind of funny to me because you have this guy, Purdy, that comes out of nowhere, kind of like what Brady did, and
Right.
takes out the old man,
Yeah.
takes him out. But granted, if I'm going to look at the weapons that the 49ers have as opposed to weapons that the Bucks have, 49ers got better weapons,
Yeah.
and they showed it. They showed it in this game.
Yeah. That's right. The only thing that was bad for the 49ers in this win is Deebo Samuel had an injury. It looks like an MCL sprain and a ankle injury at the same time.
Yeah.
So not sure how long. He's sort of week to week, they say, with this injury. Glad it wasn't season ending, which would have been really devastating for a guy that's, given this organization a lot over the last couple seasons.
Yeah, like at least he had a touchdown in the game, but I do remember the hit, and he kind of got folded up awkwardly.
Yeah.
I saw it and I was like, ooh,
Yeah.
that could have been worse than what it was. Actually, could have been
That's
a lot
true.
worse than it was.
Jerry Rice took to social media and said, voiced his displeasure, said, what the heck are you doing? Constantly getting these guys injured by running them through the middle. And he mentioned Trey Lance, Jimmy Garoppolo, and Deebo Samuel. He was, really questioning the play calling of Shanahan and the guys that do that for the Niners.
Yeah, he has a point, to a certain extent, because all those guys, significant injuries, some of them season ending. So maybe they should, not get them running through where all the land of the giants are, the 300 pounders,
Yeah. It could be pretty tough. Jerry Rice lived on the edge and had a long, what was it, 19-year career setting historic numbers. I would trust him, and I would think that, especially, you're going in against 300-400 pounders in that middle there. They land on you, you get squashed. Awkward things can happen, and that was the case. Let's hope Deebo comes back because he's fun to watch and really good for the game. So there was a funny moment that happened at the end of the game. The Niners, Dre Greenlaw, picked off Brady at some point through the game and decided he was going to ask Brady if he would sign the football. Brady had said earlier in the year when he got picked off against the Jets, and somebody asked, he's like, yeah, this is the last friggin' time I'm ever signing a football for one of my mistakes. So just don't even bother. Greenlaw said, I just decided to take a chance. What's the worst he could have said? It was no. And he didn't. So he signed it. It'll be a keepsake, something that he can show his kids, grandkids, and friends that come around. He picked off Brady, got a signature on it. Probably going to be worth something one day.
Yeah, you know what? He was really good about it too.
Yeah,
I saw it and I'm like, this could go poorly. But he was a good sport about it. He's like, sure, why not?
Yeah, I think now that he's 45, he's his competitive anger and angst is just diminished just enough to allow something like that to happen.
Yeah, I agree. And then plus on top of that, I think the 7 championships that he can go home to at night keep him like, you know what? I'm okay.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I was watching some of the earlier stuff, and during Belichick's era, they've won, out of 19 seasons, they've won 17 division titles. They've been to the Super Bowl 9 times and won them 6. So like Brady's was part of that and has had tons of success. So and the other thing is they're in the NFC South. They're still in first place, even though they're 6 and 7. They got a 1-game lead on 2 teams and 2-game lead on the other. They're not in any jeopardy yet of knocking out of the playoffs. So it didn't this loss didn't really kill them or anything. It was just, oh well, On to the next one.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing where it's just like, so you're talking about a Brady-led team is under 500 and is not at risk for not making the playoffs. No, they're still going to get in there. That's cool.
So weird. Yeah, it's so bizarre. Craziness. Okay, so 49ers go to Seattle and play the Seahawks, and that's the Thursday game. And the Bucks host the Bengals. Should be good. Bengals are playing well. Okay, also in the NFC West, Seattle. Oh man, tough loss. They were just sort of holding on to that seventh and final playoff spot and wild card spot, but bad loss. 30-24 to Carolina. Score was okay, but you can't lose to the Panthers when you're trying to secure a playoff spot.
No, you can't. And then especially with like I'm looking at Darnold's numbers, 14-24, 120 yards and a touchdown. So you're like, wait, what? What happened?
They weren't relying on Sam Darnold much, were they? Not at all. They had a ton of running game. They had twice as much possession time, twice as much first downs, and they just really were grinding it out. 250 yards on the ground, something like that. Foreman had 74, so did Hubbard. Canadian Chuba Hubbard had a great game, 14 carries, 74 yards and a touchdown. And they just decided we're just going to run the ball, and just grind the clock down. And that was a smart game plan. They got the win.
Yeah, they controlled the clock, and then they just made sure that Seattle just didn't have much time with the football, and unfortunately, Geno Smith, he did throw for 3 touchdowns to 2 of his favorite receivers, Metcalf and Lockett both had touchdowns, but the 2 interceptions really hurt.
Yeah, those definitely were tough. Seahawks running attack this year, it's been just decimated with injuries too. I feel so sorry for running backs coach and that offense, the offensive team. Just every guy that they throw out there gets hurt and is gone. Next guy up. They're down to their 4th and 5th string guys in there, 6th string guy. And you can't expect many teams to have a great running attack when they lose that many running backs to injury.
Yeah, of course. You're just diminishing returns after a while. And it's unfortunate that the Seahawks continue to have these problems at running back where they just get injured. It happened last season. It's happening again this season.
Yeah. It's tough. Okay. Also in the NFC, let's just talk about the Cardinals here. Let's just get a little update on this Monday nighter. Looks like, did the Patriots just punch it in? I think they did. Patriots just scored again. And we'll get an update. Did they kick the extra point yet? 27-13 now for the Patriots. 14 minutes left. And it looks like Patriots have the really good shot at going to 7-6 and Cardinals fall into 4-9. Another couple of great rushing touchdowns for the Patriots. Both rookies, Kevin Harris and a couple of rookies scoring touchdowns for the Patriots. Pretty impressive for Belichick being able to get these young guys in there and getting them contributing. Yeah, no, well, Belichick, being the wizard that he is, knows exactly when to put these guys in positions to succeed, and succeed they have. Yeah. Patriots go to play Vegas against the Raiders. That's 1:05 Pacific start time, 4:05 in the East. And the Cards go to Denver, also same time, 1:05 next Sunday. Speaking of Denver, Russell Wilson had his best game as a Bronco, but they still lost. And he was lost with a concussion. He tried running. He was running and having a great game, but one of his runs ended up getting hit at the end of it. Took a long time to get off the turf. He had a big chunk of dirt and grass and everything, and he was just woozy and wobbly and had to leave the game. It's too bad when finally he was generating some offense, and they looked actually pretty good, but yeah, it wasn't happening. It was 27-0 for the Chiefs, and then Russell Wilson started really turning this around after Mahomes threw a couple picks. But unfortunately, Denver's just destined to have another loss in the L column.
Yeah, man. It took though Mahomes to have those couple picks for the Broncos to have a chance.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah, totally.
Like that was the turning point.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, though, with Wilson, who actually ran the ball, and he hasn't been doing any of that. So I was impressed that he did that. 4 carries, 57 yards, but unfortunately, that last carry, when he got hit, it looked like he ran into a wall.
Yeah.
And then he did not move after that. So
no. He's always been a small guy, and you got to get down a lot sooner than that. You got to be sliding. You don't want to be taking hits from some of those big guys on the defense.
No, because if you take big hits like that, well, that can happen to you where you don't get up. You don't get up because you are concussed.
Jerry Jeudy had one of the best days of the weekend. 3 touchdowns on 8 catches for 73 yards. The nice hat trick of touchdowns there. Marlon Mack had another touchdown. Josie Jewell had a huge game on defense for them. 9 tackles and 2 picks. 2 picks that led to this being close. I thought 27-0. Holy cow, this thing's going to be just unbelievably a joke. But Broncos took advantage of those turnovers and made a game of it, but still couldn't win. 3-10 on the season, and Kansas City's 10-3. Travis Kelce, another couple milestones in this game. He had only 4 catches for 71 yards, but he crossed the 1,000-yard barrier for the 7th straight season, and also passed the 10,000 yards career yardage mark. And he's the 5th tight end in history to reach 10,000 yards. The best tight end in the game, and possibly the best tight end to ever play the game.
Yeah, definitely a future Hall of Famer. Canton's going to be calling his name soon enough. A great, incredible that he was able to get 10,000 yards in his career so far, and that there's many more yards for him to come, going forward into the future. I did want to add, though, that Jared McKinnon for the Chiefs also had a huge game.
Oh, yeah.
6 carries for 22 yards, and then 7 receptions for 112 yards with 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
He was integral for their win.
Yeah, great. They picked him up earlier this season. Clyde Edwards-Helaire has had some injury troubles, and he came in. He had even better game through the air than he had on the ground, and it was a really big factor. Kelce is the 11th player, wide receiver or tight end, to have 7 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. So joining elite company. He's the fastest tight end to ever get to 10,000 yards. He joins Tony Gonzalez, Shannon Sharp, Antonio Gates, and Jason Witten. Gonzalez and Sharp are Hall of Famers. Gates and Witten are destined for the Hall of Fame. And Kelce stamping closer and closer. Fastest guy to ever get there. So you think he's probably going to break every tight end record as long as he stays healthy.
As long as he has that guy called Patrick Mahomes passing him the football, he's going to break all those records.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Guess who the Chiefs get to face? The Houston Texans, as I mentioned a little earlier. So, expect Kelce to have some huge yardage in this next game. And the Broncos host the Cards, as I just mentioned a few minutes before. Also in the AFC West, the Rams, we got to go back to the Thursday game. Baker Mayfield might have resurrected his career, flamed out in Cleveland, extra flamed out in Carolina. They signed him off waivers. 2 days later, he leads the team to a comeback win. They're down 16-3 with 4 minutes to play. Somehow Baker Mayfield engineers 2 touchdown drives, wins the game 17-16 when he'd only met all these teammates 2 days before, and somehow pulled off this incredible game on Thursday. That was wild to watch. After we had seen a comeback on Monday, similar, and then Thursday we see another incredible resurrection to his career, possibly.
And this particular comeback is just way more impressive because it's not like he knows what the playbook is. He just got there, right? Yeah. So he's just flinging the ball around. He's just like, I'm just gonna go for it. Yeah. Go for it. He did, and it worked out for him. It worked out.
Yeah, no, I was damn impressed. It was super fun to watch. I thought, wow, I'm not going to, put much blame on him. I was shocked that he even really had any plays. I didn't think they were going to throw him out there, but they were dealing with their second and third stringer, and they decided let's give it a shot. And he had a great game, and it was good fun to watch. I've never been a fan of his, but nice to see a guy who's thrown on the scrap heap a couple times. Really gets to get a chance and show what he's got.
Yeah, and then pick himself up and lead a team that he just met to a win, and a big win at that. And he didn't turn over the ball. No interceptions. Just the one touchdown pass. But Carr definitely turned over the ball. 2 interceptions. He did not play well. He did not have a very good game, and I know why he didn't have a good game, because if I look at the other guy that should be getting the ball all the time, Davante Adams, only had 3 receptions for 71 yards.
Yeah,
that's how I know he had a bad game.
Yeah, they must have been double, triple teaming him. Which I would do. Against better. Him. Yeah. Try to shut down him and Jacobs, and that's it. But they were able to get Davante stopped, and it got a big win for them. So I was mentioning Kevin Harris, the rookie. He got his first career rushing touchdown tonight. Pierre Strong Jr. also got his first career rushing touchdown tonight. And Marcus Jones got his first career interception. So 3 rookies having an amazing night tonight and contributing to what looks like a huge win over the Cards.
Yeah, big win. Hey, the rookies are standing out, and I'm sure Belichick is over the moon. He's got something to cheer about. He's like, all right, good stuff.
Yeah. Okay. NFC North, top 2 teams, NFC North, were battling. The Vikings came into it 10-2. The Lions were just 5-7. And all of a sudden, Detroit really gave Vikings so much trouble. This Detroit team has now won 5 of their last 6 games and got a 34-23 win. This team's fun to watch. Impressive. We've been talking, as long as they have some defense, they can win, because their offense has been fantastic, and they finally got a defensive effort. And this team really actually has a shot at making the playoffs after starting 1-6,
which is amazing. Like I love the fact that the Lions have never given up on themselves. They could have easily have done that, and they never did. No. You know what? Like, because they have that belief in themselves, which is great to see. Goff had an amazing game, 27-39, 330 yards, 3 touchdowns. Passed off to Shark, 6 receptions, 94 yards, and 1 touchdown. But I do have to say this. That guy Jefferson for the Vikings, that dude had a huge game. That was the one dude that they could not stop.
Yeah.
He could not be stopped. 11 receptions, 223 yards.
Yeah. That's a career high for him, and it's a Vikings franchise high, and they've had incredible receivers there over the years. And for him to have the franchise record, it's incredible. He is so unstoppable. And this was great to see a career day. Gave him his every effort to get the victory, but the Lions just had more balanced attack.
Yeah, they had a more balanced attack, and also too, I'm sorry, I guess I can't put this loss on Cousins. 31 of 41, 425 yards, 2 touchdowns. It's like, yeah, I tried. Really?
Yeah. 425 yards is a hell of a game. So yeah, Jesus Christ. No, this was a fun game to watch. I enjoyed it thoroughly. And yeah, it's great to see two teams from the NFC North playing so well and battling. Obviously the Vikings are going to finish first. They're too far and away and ahead, but Detroit, yeah, definitely has a chance if they keep this up to sneak into wild card position. And this would be one of the biggest comebacks we've ever seen.
Yeah, it would be awesome. It'd just be like a great story if they can actually pull this off.
Yeah. Turning to the other two teams in the NFC North, the Packers sit 5-8, they're in third place, and Bears at 3-10 in fourth. Both had buys. Green Bay hosts the Rams on the Monday nighter, a week from tonight, and Chicago hosts the Eagles at the early window on Sunday. Okay. We did mention the NFC South. We talked about those teams. The Bucks are first with 6-7. Carolina is 5-8 in second. Falcons also 5-8. They had a bye week and they go to New Orleans on Sunday. And speaking of New Orleans, they are actually even still alive in this NFC South at 4-9. They can win the division still. With the 4 games left to play, but my money's still on the Bucks, but it's become a lot more interesting than we thought it would be a few weeks ago.
Yeah, it definitely has. I still find it incredibly funny that the Saints are still mathematically in it. Really, give me a break. But anyways, yeah, I agree with you. I think that this is the Bucks to lose.
Yeah, I think they should be able to wrap it up. So, okay, AFC. We've covered some of the games in the AFC through that rolled through the NFC, but we haven't covered some of them. First one we'll go to is the AFC East leading Bills. They got their 4th straight win. It wasn't a pretty win. The conditions were really, really brutal, but they squeaked out a 20-12 win over the Jets. There was 10 straight punts in that first half. I think the Jets ended up punting the ball like 9 times in this game. It was ugly. Rain, snow, sleet. Just the conditions were super brutal. It was almost a scoreless half for both teams. Jets had the first scoreless half for years and years and years. And but the Buffalo did get a late touchdown. Josh Allen, another one of those amazing runs where he decides to jump in the air, get that first down. He looked like a helicopter again. Dawson Knox saw that and decided to do that himself and did a flip into the end zone. Those two guys are big boys and got where they wanted to go, got what they needed, and it was they're fun to watch when they're doing plays like that. It's awesome.
No, yeah. They provide that entertainment because like they're willing to put life and limb on the line just to get that first down, or for Knox to get that touchdown, which definitely helped for the Bills to win the game.
Yeah, it was, as I said, really brutal. There was 15 punts all told. The Bills were only 2 for 13 on third down, only had 14 first downs the entire game. Mike White was good. I'm really liking this young guy. I think he's got a good future. He did get hit a lot of times and damaged his ribs. He's day-to-day right now with rib injuries. I really love him, and I have a good feeling for him. If he can keep healthy, they can keep the pressure off of him. I think he's going to be able to win some games down the stretch for this team.
No, I think they've found their quarterback for now, and I think they're definitely off of Zach Wilson. I don't know what's going to happen with him in his future. And I hope that Mike White is not so severely injured that he cannot start for the next game for the Jets, because I definitely don't want to see Wilson in there because I know what that's going to happen. They're going to lose.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they will. Yeah. The Jets host the Lions on Sunday and the Bills host the Dolphins. And there's 3 Saturday games. This is the first one we're mentioning. This is the late game Saturday, 5:15 kickoff Pacific time, 8:15 Eastern time. Yeah, we finally got some Saturday games to enjoy in the NFL now. What do you think? How do you like that?
No, I like it, man. I like it. Hey, it's Saturday, right? Like it's the weekend. So yeah, football on Saturday, I'm all for it.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, sounds good. Okay, so I mentioned the Dolphins there. They fell to 8-5 on the season. They lost 23-17 to the Chargers on the Sunday nighter. Justin Herbert had an absolutely awesome game. 367 yards through the air. He was hitting his targets like crazy. Keenan Allen had 12 catches, and Mike Williams was great as well. Man, yeah, this team has the weapons, and when they're rolling, Eckler's running the ball, catching the ball, and he's got his 2 top targets. This team's really good, and this was a huge must-win game for the Chargers to stay in that playoff position.
Yeah, and they pulled it off. They pulled it off, and the Chargers defense, even though they're dealing with kind of a lot of injuries on the defensive side of the ball, they were stout. They held the Dolphins for the most part. There was some bad luck there, like especially with Hill grabbing that fumble
and
going 70 yards for like a touchdown. You're just like, wait, what happened?
Yeah.
And on the instant replay, it's actually one of the Chargers players that digs and flips it out. Yeah. I think he may have thought it was one of his own teammates behind him. Unfortunately, that was Tyreek Hill, the fastest guy in the NFL. And then he took that ball and he went to the house and took it.
Yeah. Well, they didn't really even notice him getting the ball until he was already around down the sideline. They're like, oh, crap. And that's the cheetah. Can't catch him. Oh, we lost. There's a touchdown there. But other than that, went pretty well. This was a great game. And there was a lot of hype about it being the 2 draft picks that went after each other in the 2020 draft. I'm a Chargers fan, and I was hoping so much for Tua. I was like, oh, God, I hope Tua can fall to us at 6. I hope. And the Dolphins drafted him at 5, and I was just so bummed. And then Herbert comes up, next pick, Justin Herbert. I'm like, oh, great. And I was like, no, I'm disappointed. I wanted Tua. It's worked out for both franchises, really. And, I'm happy now. Herbert has been great. And, this was a fun battle to see these 2 guys that came out of that 2020 draft and are both two of the best in the game.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a great game. Unfortunately, I didn't think that Tua had one of his best games. Like, the accuracy was not there. It was not there. And for this particular game, going 10-28, 145 yards, a touchdown. But at least he didn't throw any picks. But needed to generate some more offense for them to win this game.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. As I mentioned, Miami goes to Buffalo for the Saturday nighter. The Chargers host the Titans. The later windows, 1:25 Pacific kickoff for them. We've covered the 3rd place Jets. They sit at 7-6, and the last place Patriots poised now to go to 7-6. We got 7 minutes, 22 seconds left. 27-13. And Cardinals are marching. Colt McCoy's got the ball, trying to big play by him. Trying to get it closer, but only 7 minutes left for them to make this comeback. So okay, AFC West. Chiefs 10-3. We talked about them a little earlier, beating the Broncos. Chargers is 2nd at 7-6. Raiders 3rd at 5-8. Raiders had a heartbreaking loss to the Rams. And Baker Mayfield on Thursday, that was brutal. We mentioned Carr wasn't great and really tough. And the Broncos fell to 3-10. They're in the basement. 2nd worst team in the AFC, having a bad go. In the AFC North, all 4 teams played each other in the division games. The Ravens edged the Steelers 16-14, as both teams were dealing with quarterbacks that were out with concussions. Lamar Jackson's been out for Baltimore, but they also lost Huntley to the concussion protocol. There's third stringer Anthony Brown had to come in, and Mitch Trubisky had to come in and clean up after Pickett also had a concussion and had to be removed. Man, there's been a lot of concussions from quarterbacks this year, and this game was pretty bad with both guys going down.
Yeah, and I don't know. For me personally, it seems that the quarterbacks are running a lot more this year too, as well. Yeah. And then that's across the league, so maybe that's why you're seeing an increase in concussions from your most important guy on offense with the quarterbacks. Trubisky, 276 yards are great, but the 3 interceptions are not.
Brutal. Yeah, those are killer. Roquan Smith had one of those picks. He also had a sack and 5 tackles. His sack on Pickett led to his removal, and that was a huge acquisition, getting him out of Chicago this year. He was a monster in this game. Chicago wasn't able to get a contract signed with him, so they shipped him out the door so they could get something for him, and Baltimore was more than happy to bring him in. He's been just phenomenal since they've been there. They also got J.K. Dobbins back after he came back from surgery. He had missed a month and a half, and he was great. 15 carries, 120 yards, and a touchdown. That will be huge for them going forward. Ravens go to Cleveland on Saturday. They play the 1:30 Pacific kickoff time, and the Steelers go to Carolina Sunday for the early window there. Okay, and the other North matchup, the Bengals, they finally beat the Cleveland Browns with Joe Burrow there. He had never beat Cleveland in his career. He was able to handle the Browns 23-10. He was good, and good to see Joe Mixon back. He was also good. Jamar Chase was, as usual, stud self with another 120-yard game and a touchdown. Samaje Perine took a bit of a backseat now that Mixon's back, but he still scored a touchdown. Definitely the Bengals were the better team on this day.
Yeah, Bengals were the better team. Burrow did enough, 18 to 33, 239 yards, 2 touchdowns. And like you said, Mixon actually, he came back and he played very, very well for the Bengals. And the Browns Watson looks like a quarterback that hasn't played for 2 years.
Yeah. He was better than the last game, but still not good enough. Chubb was bottled up like crazy. 14 carries for only 34 yards. That's unlike him. Usually he gets off. Donovan Peoples-Jones had a great game. Njoku had a touchdown, and Mari only had 2 catches. So they bottled up Chubb and Cooper, and were able to get the big win. Cincinnati goes to Tampa Bay, plays a late window on Sunday, and Cleveland hosts the Ravens, as I just mentioned. And finally, AFC South, the Titans are still in control, first place, but they got beat by the Jags. Trevor Lawrence had his second big game in the last 3 weeks. He threw a career high 368 yards with 3 touchdowns. Evan Engram was massive. This is his best game since he left the Giants, came here. 11 catches, 162 yards, and 2 touchdowns. What a phenomenal day for him. Zay Jones was good, and this passing attack was stellar. Their running game wasn't there, but their passing attack was spot on in this game for sure.
Yeah, passing attack was spot on. Lawrence was on point. Even added 1 running touchdown as well. Yeah. And but for the Jags defense, unfortunately, they couldn't bottle up Henry as much as they would have liked. 17 carries, 121 yards, and 1 touchdown. But Jags defense still managed to intercept Tannehill once. Tannehill had 2 touchdowns, 254 yards. But the Jags, this was a big win for them. Yeah. Big win against the division rival.
Yeah. Titans actually lost 3 fumbles on the day. So they were -4 in the turnover department, and that was the difference. That was the big reason. Titans are still in first place at 7-6, but as we mentioned, those other Southern teams in the NFC creeping up. If they don't take care of business soon, some of these teams might pass them. Jags are looking great, quite a bit in the last few weeks. and fun team to watch. The Colts are third in the division. They had a bye going in this week. They're 4-8-1 on the year and go to Minnesota for the early window. And Texans, as I mentioned, last in the league, 11-1, and they host the Chiefs on Sunday. Tough sledding for them. And finally, Titans go to LA to play the Chargers. Sunday, the Jags host the Cowboys the early window Sunday. So, yeah, that's the NFL story for week 14.
Yeah, great games. Great games all around. Unfortunately, injuries all around as well. We'll see how everything shakes out for the next week 15 coming up.
Yeah, excited. There's be a lot of great games to watch, and 3 on Saturday and many on Sunday. It's going to be an awesome football weekend. Really cool. What do we hit? 4 minutes left. Patriots got the ball back, 27-13, trying to run the clock down and get the win. Looks pretty good. I did say that though. The last 2 games, the Monday night or Thursday night, 4 minutes left, two touchdowns down. So I better not call it done yet. But okay, UFC, 29th consecutive sellout. Attendance at the T-Mobile Arena, 18,455, $4.4 million gate. A lot of great cards. Last pay-per-view of 2022. And everything was really good until that main event. I thought it was a terrible main event. I was really disappointed because I was looking forward to seeing these 2 behemoths in the light heavyweight division battle each other. A fight that wasn't supposed to have the belt implications on it. This wasn't supposed to be for the belt. Yuri Prochazka and Glover Teixeira were supposed to fight until Prochazka blew out his shoulder. And they made this for the belt. I would have thought that this would have been more guys really going for it completely the whole entire time to try to get the belt. But I was really disappointed. I didn't like the fight at all. Dana White agrees with me, many others, but you thought it was not as bad as I thought it was.
I just didn't. I'm going to be honest. I just didn't think it was that bad. It wasn't that great of a main card. I've seen worse. Clearly, but like at the same time, I just thought it was more tactical than anything else. Right. I thought Jan Blachowicz had a great game plan. I never would have thought that Ankalaev would have been that susceptible to leg kicks.
Right.
I didn't think that. Yeah. But apparently Jan Blachowicz has steel in those shins. So much so that you could visibly tell from a tough fighter that has a great poker face for pain. Was visibly limping and wincing in pain from the leg kicks that Blachowicz was giving him, especially in the second and the third round, right? First round was a feel-out round, and not much was going on there. But the second and third round, those leg kicks started to add up, and then all of a sudden, Ankalaev is just like, if I don't take this dude down, I'm not going to be able to stand.
Yeah.
They're going to call the fight.
Yeah. Well, I was kind of surprised that wasn't his game plan right from the start. I thought he would have wanted the fight on the ground. I thought he would have tried to take him down from, first minute. And that you're right. That first round was a complete feeling out process. Blachowicz won that round on everybody's cards. Same with the second round. Everybody was like, okay, he's up 2 rounds. That third round has been disputed by some 2 judges, had 10-9 for Blachowicz. So he was winning this fight. If it goes to decision, he's won 10-9 on 3 cards. As long as, there's not a 10-8, we've got a decision going Blachowicz's way. I looked at the cards over and over and realized that Sal D'Amato with a 10-8 in the 5th round for Magomed Ankalaev. We have a split draw. And nobody's happy. Nobody's happy with a draw. I just when you look at it, when you talk to it about it, when you discuss it, the judges should have a winner. They should all talk to amongst each other and say, like, okay, who really won this fight? Like, is this really a draw? Like, I don't think so. Come on. To me, clearly, Ankalaev won 3 rounds, in my opinion. And Blachowicz won 2. And even Blachowicz said, I didn't win this fight. Give him the belt. He deserves it. He won this fight. And it was really disappointing. And I'm too often leaving these cards disappointed because of judging decisions that go the wrong way. And I think Ankalaev deserves this belt. I thought he won the fight. He didn't start off well, but he figured out what he needed to do to get those last 3 rounds, and I thought he got him.
Yeah, no, I thought he finished strong, especially in the 4th and 5th where he dominated him.
Yeah.
Now my question is, do you think the 5th round's defensible for a 10-8 round? Because all Blachowicz did was eat punches.
Yeah.
Like he did, it's like he ate punches, right? So
yeah.
I looked at that and I was just like, I guess, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, all right, so Ankalaev, we both think that he won the fight, but doesn't happen. So what does Dana White do? None of you are going to fight for the belt again.
Yeah.
I'm going to put in somebody completely new because as you and Dana saw it the same way, didn't like the fight, so I'm just going to get some new blood against Glover. Done.
Yeah. Yeah, well, he was so angry with it. He was so disgusted that it just really was such a dud after such a great night that it really wasn't what the fans came to see. And he said, "No, I'm not running this one back. Forget you guys." Glover and Jamal Hill. This will be great. I'm excited about this fight. It's happening in January, and I don't think I would have actually been super stoked to see these guys have to fight again to try to determine a winner. I just didn't. It didn't jazz me up that night, and I wouldn't have been signing up to go to see it again if they just ran it back in a month or two.
I agree. Like it just, for me, I was just like, okay, those are 2 of the best in the division. So yeah, it made sense the first time. But after seeing that fight, I'm like, okay, well, let's try something new. Dana White obviously saw the same thing. And interesting matchup because those are 2 completely different styles.
Yeah.
I'm actually quite looking forward to the fight. Like, it's like, wow, this is going to be a little bit different for sure.
I love it. I love the matchup. I think it's one of the most exciting matchups they could put together. And I was just blown away. They just went in the back, said, "Fuck, that one sucked. Let's get something new," and figured out, okay, let's make this happen, and just turn the tables. And this will happen in Brazil for the vacant belt, UFC 283, January 21st. And there's already a title fight on the card. It's Davison Figueiredo and Brandon Moreno 4, which will be for the flyweight belt. Gilbert Burns, Neil Magny on that card. Paul Craig and Johnny Walker. There'll be tons of Brazilians on the card as always. And that gives me something to really get excited for pay-per-view, and I guess just about 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah. And the fight I'm looking forward to the most is the 4th go around between Figueiredo and Moreno.
Yeah.
Now, if there's one thing I can say for certain, we're not going to see no Ankalaev Blachowicz fight from those 2 guys. You're going to see them just go after each other for 5 rounds.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
That's going to be super awesome. Yeah, I'm excited about that one. So, yeah, okay. So the main event, put it in our rear view mirror. See you later. Goodbye, guys. We'll see when we see you again, but it could be a while. And now we go to the co-main, and we got more controversy here. Only 2 people in the world, maybe 3 actually, two judges and Paddy Pimblett thought that he won this fight against Jared Gordon, and got the decision win. Another thing that just disgusts me, because there's no way that he should have won this fight. Is it, you can't really call the UFC ever fixed, but like, why are 2 guys seeing something that nobody else is seeing? Why is this happening?
On every, like, let's say, fighters card that they usually have, like Twitter or something like that, everybody had Gordon winning this fight because he won the 3rd round. Yeah, he did the control time. He had him up against the cage and stuff like that. but it's control over the fighter. And
Yeah.
Pimblett wasn't able to change the narrative of that round. That has to count for something.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't agree with Dana saying he had a terrible game plan. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, all right. I get it. That's your boy. I get it. I get it. But at the same time, I'm sorry, man. He didn't win that fight. He didn't win that fight. First 2 rounds, incredibly close. It was a great fight, close fight. I thought Pimblett won the second. I thought Gordon edged him in the first. And then going into the third, that was whoever wins the third wins the match.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then I thought Gordon won that fight. I really did.
Yeah, it's super frustrating. I was talking with guys today. I was talking with Grayson today, and he was saying, we got to figure out a better way. There's got to be some way of changing it so that it's not 10-9, because you can outpunch a guy by 1 punch and get a 10-9. You can outpunch a guy by 30 punches and get a 10-9. How is that fair? It's just hard to determine it. He came up with a ton of really great ideas. A little pad where you hit the pad a few times. 1 pad for a good jab, 2 pad for a big power shot, 3 little taps for a takedown. And at the end of every round, you see, okay, there was 55 taps here, there was 28 taps there. This guy obviously won, and he thought maybe you could take a pen and just do little check marks every time that somebody did a little damage and count up the check marks at the end. I've did a little bit of judging before, and it's tough when you're watching to even write stuff down, because you want to have your eyes focused on the fighters at all times. But there's got to be something changed, something done different. There's going to be changes with the betting that we talked about this past week. There's going to be changes. There's been changes to weigh-ins. There's got to be changes to making sure the fighters completely 100% going into these fights. But the judging, man, I'm so sick of these fights that a guy has won. He deserves his show bonus and his win bonus, and he gets robbed of it because stupid judges screw it up. And they've got to change it. It can't be boxing judging anymore. It's got to be MMA judging, and get these guys certified, former fighters, guys that know the game, and make sure that we just don't have to have these controversies anymore.
I think that's more to the point for me, what you just mentioned at the end there. I think the judges have to have some sort of MMA background. Yeah. Honestly, I don't think, I've never thought it worked bringing boxing judges to MMA. I thought it was always nonsensical and stupid.
Yeah,
I still do, right? I think you need guys with a real background that know what they're looking at so that they can judge it properly. Yeah. I think that's first and foremost. That's number one.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's super key. They have to be just MMA guys, and not even have any affiliation with boxing. They got to be separate. It's a separate sport, totally different. Should be viewed totally different. And I think we'll be a lot happier in the end. With Jamal Hill now fighting for that title, Anthony Smith loses his opportunity to fight Hill. He was supposed to fight on fight night 221, the main event on March 11th. Smith said, okay, they've screwed me here, so now I get to call him out. I want to fight on the London card. He's asked to be on that fight, which is the March 18th in the UK, UFC 286, which should be a massive card. Tons of eyeballs on that, and could be some good money for him. We'll see who they put Anthony Smith up against. But as we mentioned, over to share Jamal Hill, that one is going to be fun to watch.
It's going to be a great fight. When I first heard it, I'm like, oh, so you're just going to completely bypass those two guys that just, you're just like, yeah, no, I don't care about them anymore. Yeah. So Jamal Hill, you are up. Yeah. And I like it though. I like it. I like the fight, and how they say styles makes fights, and Glover always comes to play.
Oh yeah,
he's always there to fight you, man. So I think it's going to be a great fight.
I'm excited. I'm totally excited about it. Yeah. Okay. I want to keep going through the card, but I do want to mention before I forget, I don't want to have this forgotten. Just announced today, Kamaru Usman is out of his rematch fight with Leon Edwards. They were supposed to run it back after Edwards got that late head kick knockout. Kamaru has decided to undergo hand surgery and will go under the knife very soon. Looks like he's being replaced by Jorge Masvidal, which is pretty great because Leon and Jorge have had a long-running feud and have really wanted to step in the cage against each other ever since they fought before. And that'll be like an incredible, amazing fight to watch. And that was cool of the UFC to shuffle on their feet really quick and put something else together. They haven't announced it yet, but I hear that's what's going to happen now instead of Rocky Usman.
I am a little bit surprised at that. I'm actually really surprised at that Masvidal managed to sneak in there for a title shot. Good for him. That'll be a great fight. That will be an absolute war. If you want excitement, well, you're going to get it with those two.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah. Yeah. They will bang, and should be awesome. I'm excited. They don't like each other, and it will have a lot of things stirred up going into this. So yeah, it'll be amazing. Okay, let's talk about the catchweight fight that happened right before the co-main. Santiago Ponzinibbio was always scheduled to fight on this card. He was supposed to fight Robbie Lawler, who got a late injury and had to pull out of the fight. He was replaced, late replacement by Alex Morono, and I think Ponzinibbio was like, "Damn, I think I really wish Lawler would have stayed at it because Morono was beating up Ponzinibbio in those first couple rounds. He was looking like, man, yeah, you shouldn't have bit off more than you can chew and brought me in there. And it looked like, yeah, Morono was going to get a win. He doesn't look tough. He doesn't look mean, but he is a hell of a fighter. And had this gone to the judges, he was winning this fight. Ponzinibbio's corner was yelling at him, "You lost those first two rounds. Get out there and knock him out." And that's what he did. He went out there, got a crazy knockout. Morono was knocked out before he even hit the ground. His face was to the side. He's standing there. Did you see that? It was like, what a shot that was. That just put him out standing there. It was pretty wild.
He hit him so hard that his face went weird. You know what I mean? Like, that's how hard he hit him. Right? I couldn't stop laughing. So like, what happened to his face?
And they showed it so many times over and over. Yeah, his face was just immediately just. It was so hilarious. And I bet you I saw the replay like a dozen times in the next 2 minutes. It was so funny.
Oh no, man! It did. Ponzinibbio hit him with a hellacious overhand right, and then that was literally it. Morono was done. But leading up to that, before that point, Morono looked unbelievably good. He only had a week preparation for this fight, and he did that and almost got the win. Almost. His distance management was awesome. He was popping his jab. He was in and out. He looked fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I'd say this: if he fights Ponzinibbio again, he probably would circle away from that power right, always circle out to the right, and he probably wins this fight. Right. You know, he made a mistake and he got caught big time, right? Yeah. So I give Ponzinibbio the credit in the world. You know, he took the fight, managed to get the KO, being down 2 rounds, and so good on him. But Morono, you know what? If I'm in that division, I'd be like, that dude's a little bit of a problem.
Yeah, no, he fought amazingly good, and as I said, he doesn't look like a killer, but man, he sure is a great fighter, and that was good. And I heard Dana White was super generous. He decided he was going to give out a ton of bonuses, He gave a fight of the night to this next fight we're going to talk about, but he gave 50K to everyone that got finishes. He also gave 50K to Jared Gordon, and he gave 50K to Alex Morono because he just brought it, and on such short notice was putting in such an incredible performance. So glad to see Santa Dana was out in December and really helped out a lot of these fighters with 50K bonuses.
It was nice that he was actually in a good mood, because that's what he said. He's in a good mood. I'm sure other fighters like, man, I wish you were in a good mood all the time, but I guess that doesn't happen. So yeah, that was cool. I'm glad that he did that. I'm glad that he felt giving enough to give these fighters their due.
Yeah, that was good. Okay, as I mentioned, fight of the night, the middleweight battle between Dricus du Plessis and Darren Till. Du Plessis hit Darren Till so many times in that first round. It was just an absolute beatdown. I never got the official amount of strikes that landed there, but it was just completely one-sided. Till looked horrible, and he if that was his way of wearing out du Plessis, that was a pretty tough way to go about it, because definitely Till ended up coming back in that second round and winning that second round, because Dricus could barely lift his arms up anymore because he had thrown so many shots into Till's face. But this was a hell of a great fight. Just amazing that Till survived that first round. Amazing that he was able to turn it around and win that second round. But du Plessis got his second win and ended up winning the fight in the third.
I think Till was surprised with du Plessis' game plan, which was grappling heavy attack. I think that caught Darren Till completely off guard.
Yeah,
I don't think he was prepared for that whatsoever. I think he was expecting a stand-up war, and that's not what happened. Du Plessis changed the complete script on him, and I think he was unnerved, and he was not expecting that. He was not expecting that from du Plessis, but I don't understand why he accepted that position in the first round, where he had to yell at the ref to not stop the fight.
So many times I kept putting his thumb up. I'm okay. I've just taken 50 shots, but I'm still all right. I'm still all right. But I don't know why he was not trying to do something different, because he was taking a ton of abuse.
Yeah, he was. And I don't know why he accepted that position the way he did. Now, after the fight, you found out that he blew out his ACL again. That sucked.
Brutal.
But so then my question is, did he actually blow it out in the first round? That's why he couldn't get up. And, I don't know. We don't know. But I do know this. When du Plessis finally got that rear naked choke on him, that was not underneath the chin, and that was a quick tap. So I'm thinking that the injury to his knee was probably so severe that he just said, enough's enough. I'm done.
Yeah, I'm just finished. Yeah, I don't know where Till goes from here. Dana White, said he loved his effort and, couldn't believe that he, put in such a great, second round after receiving that bad of a beating. He's lost 5 out of his last 6. And it's starting to look a little ugly for him. He's getting hurt. He's getting beat up pretty bad by most of these guys. And I don't know what he's going to do. I think, he better either change divisions or figure something better out, because he's taken way too much punishment that's going to, really affect him down the road into his post-fight career.
Yeah, I agree with you on that 100%. Well, he's going to have to take some time off, because now he has to go under the knife again and get his knee fixed again. So he's going to have some time to think about what his approach is going to be going forward, because something has to change.
Yeah, it's not working. Definitely not working right now. Okay, let's talk about the fight that kicked off the main card. Ilya Topuria and Bryce Thugnazzi Mitchell. Topuria, oh man, this guy is super tough. This guy is just incredible. Amazing submission win, just getting that arm triangle choke. And 5-0 UFC, 13-0 overall. He's calling out Paddy Pimblett. They have a huge war going on right now. He wants to rip Pimblett's head right off. I would, if I was Pimblett in his corner, I would stay super far away from this guy. This guy's on a rise, and he could be a champion within a year or two. This guy is one amazingly tough fighter.
He's incredibly talented. He out-grappled Mitchell, and Mitchell's, I think, one of the better grapplers in the UFC.
Yeah.
He out-grappled him, right? And then also, too, like, he eventually, especially in the second round, he took Mitchell apart on the feet. Like Mitchell actually, there's different classes to that game, and his class was far above Mitchell's when it came to striking on the feet. So I'm looking at Topuria going, okay, so this guy's the next up. And I agree with you. Pimblett's camp, no, don't want no part of that dude. Don't want no part of that dude. No. Because there's a question mark if he even beat Gordon, right?
Yeah.
Topuria destroy Gordon.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. That dude takes Topuria out probably in the first round.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm Pimblett should not be fighting this dude.
No, I think the UFC has to slow play him. I think they have to put him in against competition that he's, more comparable to. And they want this guy to rise up through the ranks and be their boy for a while. So, I think they're going to be wise and just put him in against, level or below level competition that he can beat and keep this bar rolling. Because if he gets KO'd really badly early on, once or twice in a row, their boy could be out of the picture.
Yeah. And if you put him up against that killer in Topuria, he's definitely out of the picture. Yeah. All right. So that they don't want no part of that. I think Topuria, his next fight should be somebody in the top 10 in his division.
Yeah.
And then after he wins that fight, top 5 title fight possibly.
Yeah. I think he could have a belt within a year or so. I really think this guy's on a rise that, it's going to be tough for anybody to take him out. He's amazing. Okay, the feature fight on the prelims had the youngest fighter to ever win in the UFC. Raul Rosa came in, looked great. And guess where he was today? Back in high school, in his classroom, taking his friggin' classes after celebrating his first ever UFC victory in the cage. This was crazy. I don't really like it. I don't think a guy this young should be in the UFC quite yet, but a lot of people seem to be on him, really jumping for him and cheering him on. Go for it, kid. He's been doing MMA for quite a few years. Finally getting his opportunity, and the youngest fighter to ever get a victory in the UFC.
He's still in high school. That says enough for me, man. All right. And by the way, he's the toughest guy in his high school. Period.
Yeah, nobody's gonna mess with him anymore. No bullying going on there.
No bullying going on there. He was very impressive. Very impressive. Took Perrin down, controlled him, and just took his time hunting for the rear naked choke and eventually got it. Yeah. It's like, yeah. And I love the fact that after the fight, looked like he belonged there.
Yeah.
Wasn't fazed by the moment whatsoever.
Yeah, I think Perrin was a handpicked guy, 0-2 in the UFC, 10-6 going in, 10-7 now. Just what we talked about with Pimblett, putting guys in that he really has a really good shot at continuing his record. We see it in boxing all the time. These guys got records of 34, 35, 40-0, and they've been just put against guys that they know they can win, and they just get the record. I think this would happen here with Rosa, but still impressive. Even when you're 18 years old and you're fighting men and you're getting victories, it's pretty good. I'm not happy that he's so young and has already been given this chance, because I don't want that to become a trend, because I don't think people realize how elite, 99.9% of these athletes are. You got to be a man. You got to have man strength to get in there against most of these guys. These are killers. These are some of the best athletes on the planet. And And I don't think a lot of these teenagers have a legitimate shot against most of these guys.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that. And then also too, you got to kind of worry about head trauma for these young fighters going into the octagon so quickly. So, but I would say maybe this guy's the exception to the rule.
Could be
The lone exception to the rule.
Could be. Okay, the heavyweight fight was over quick. Rosenstrike just landed a shot or two and just absolutely steamrolled Chris Daukaus. One of the fastest heavyweight fights we've ever seen, over in 23 seconds. And yeah, on to the next. This was a one-sided affair.
He brushed his shoulders off and just said, all right, I got to do some quick work. I'm hungry and I need something to eat. I think that's what Rosenstrike did. He was just like, all right, kind of hungry here, so I'm going to dust this guy, go get a burger. Yeah. All right, let's do it. Yeah. And he annihilated Daukaus. Daukaus looked like he should never have been in the octagon with a guy like that, period.
No. He outweighed him by 20-something pounds and maybe even more fight day. And it was, it was not a good matchup for Daukaus. He shouldn't have been there. He didn't last long. Hopefully the concussion doesn't last long for him, and he didn't take too many shots that concussed him. But it was not. This was a one-sided affair, big time. Okay, Edmund Shabazian came in. Both fighters came in on losing streaks. Shabazian had looked really good for a while in the UFC, then took a couple of losses and looked pretty bad doing so. I guess 3 losses in a row. And then, turned it around here, got a big necessary win to save his UFC career, and looked pretty good doing it.
He looked very good. I thought his striking was on point. Eventually hit, Lungium Bala with a knee up the middle that rocked him. Took advantage of that, got to the ground, immediately full mount, ground and pound finish. Super impressive win, actually. Very impressive win against a very powerful fighter in Lungium Bala.
Yeah. Saved his bacon. He's still in the UFC and moving forward. Okay, the fight that kicked off the main prelims was the middleweight battle between 2 really powerful, great guys, and Chris Curtis and Joaquin Buckley. Buckley's always going to be known for that amazing spinning kick against Impa Katsagane. And this fight actually ended in a similar fashion in a way, because Buckley threw a kick. It got caught by Curtis, and Curtis ended up just throwing a friggin' shot that put Buckley down, and then he just started hammering him. I think Buckley went out on a couple of occasions and woke back up when he got more hammer fists. And I saw Curtis say today, he just kept saying, just fall asleep. and finally the referee jumped in and pulled him off. But Curtis used his experience, had the more straight shots, not the big hooks that Buckley seems to throw, and got a big win over a very tough guy. Yeah,
Curtis was patient. Yeah, I think he just exercised his patience. Buckley definitely threw more volume. He was the busier fighter. But when Curtis saw his opportunity by blocking that high kick and driving that left right into Buckley's chin, he flattened him with that shot. Yeah. Absolutely flattened him, and then it was over. It was a great win by Curtis. Great win. Great patience again that he exercised throughout the entirety of that fight.
Yeah, you're right. Total patience. Yeah, he realized he would get his opportunity, and finally did, catching that kick and throwing that perfect shot up the middle. I didn't get to see too many of the early prelims. Billy Quarantillo fight, great knockout by him. Nothing more to say too much for me on those early prelims.
I didn't get to see it either. The only thing that I saw, like the highlights of, was Quarantillo, because apparently he did make a comeback win to beat Hernandez, which was pretty impressive. TKO in the second.
Yeah, that was nice. Yeah. Okay, we've only got one UFC card left in the year. It comes next Saturday. It's an early card, 1 p.m. for the prelims, 4 p.m. Pacific for the main card. Jared Cannonier, Sean Strickland should be hell of a battle. Love those two middleweights, and I'm looking forward to the fight between them. Bruce Leroy on the card, Julian Rosa, Drew Dober fighting against Bobby Green, who's always super fun to watch. Anything standing out for you that you want to mention?
The Drew Dober Bobby Green fight. Can't wait. I think that'll be the fight of the night. I guarantee it.
Nice.
I think those. Yeah, I'm super excited to see that fight.
Yeah. There's a lot of good fights on the card and should be fun. Nice way to end the year. And it's been a great UFC year. 29 straight sellouts, and after that pandemic, they made it through, and I think it's on the most solid footing it's been on for a really, really long time. Super excited. One last mention for me in the UFC is I've heard that Aljamain Sterling and Henry Cejudo has been confirmed by the two of them. UFC didn't make an announcement yet, but they've gone on social media and said it's done, and they're firing already a ton of stuff back and forth at each other. And this will be a really fun battle between words as it comes closer. Hopefully the UFC makes an announcement over the coming days on exactly what card it's going to be, and when we can see these two guys battle. Should be a hell of a fight to watch.
That should be a heck of a fight, but it took them a long time to make this fight. I know Cejudo's been banging the drum quite a bit to have a title fight right away, which didn't necessarily materialize right away. I always wonder, I'm like, why? What's the holdup there? Because he was a double champ. That has to count for something, right?
True. Yeah.
So
I think I think he retired, and it sort of probably pissed the UFC off a little bit. I think he's been out of that USADA program for so long of a time. I think they needed to make sure that he was testing and getting into that program and going to do it all. But it has been way too long since we've seen him, and a lot of rumors that this fight might finally happen. But as of the last couple of days, it sounds like they've agreed, and it will go forward.
Oh, that's good. That's good, because I think that's going to be a very exciting fight. And I'm going to say this: I don't think Cejudo is going to be coming into that fight like supremely injured. So I expect a good fight.
Yeah, totally, exactly. Yeah. Okay. Combat sports, boxing news. Lots of really big boxing news over the weekend. Terrence Bud Crawford got a big 6-round KO over David Avanesian. Bud improved to 39-0 with 30 KOs. He wants to fight Errol Spence. Everybody wants him to fight Errol Spence, but did you hear Errol Spence got into a severe car accident on Saturday?
What? Wait, another one?
Yeah,
another one, because he got in one before.
2019, he got into a severe one that put him in the hospital. This one hasn't been as serious for him. He said he has something's wrong with his leg. But the details that came out that were really scary was he was hit head on by a car driven by a 14-year-old that hadn't even got a license yet. This 14-year-old stole his parents' car and went out joyriding, and ended up head-on crashing with Spence. And this is the second car accident in 3 years that he's had to endure. Let's hope he is fairly unscathed, and this fight can be put together, because we've been waiting for it for a few years.
What kind of luck is that? Jesus, like that is incredibly bad luck.
Yeah,
just incredibly bad luck. I hope that he's not too injured, and I hope that the fight can go forward. But wow, like having two major car accidents within the span of 3 years, that's incredibly bad luck.
Yeah, man, the pictures look brutal, and it was horrible. I'm sad for him that he would have had had to encounter this kid that was just out for joyride, having fun. Not a good thing to happen, but fingers crossed that he'll be able to resume his boxing career really soon. The biggest fight probably over the weekend was Teofimo Lopez getting a fight at MSG over Sandor Martin. Sandor dropped Lopez twice, but the referee messed up on one of them and didn't call it an actual knockdown. So it went to the judges' scorecards. It ended up in a split decision victory for Teofimo, who didn't really look that impressive. It was a brutal refereeing screw up as well here. Sandor deserved this fight. I was shocked when I saw the judges' cards, and I don't know how the heck it went into a split decision, but I think Lopez realized, maybe I don't have it. There was a microphone that was close to the corner, and he was talking to his corner, and it sort of, you overheard him say like, are you sure, guys, that I still got it? Because I don't know, did I even win this one? And it seems like he better go back to the drawing board. He had a huge victory a couple years ago, and it was going to be the next one, but this wasn't a very good performance on his part.
Yeah, I heard about it. I saw the knockdowns. I saw the one that should have been scored a knockdown. That was egregious. Like that, you just stole that guy's victory away from him, because that would have been a huge victory for him.
Yeah.
And again, judges, reference, these guys, they got to get it right, because this is a person's career on the line. You know what I mean?
Lopez is now in line to face the winner of the title fight, the WC super lightweight title fight, Jose Ramirez and Regis Proglass. We'll see what happens there, and see if they can make it happen. Lopez better go back and come back with a lot better effort, though. It wasn't very good at all. Manny Pacquiao had a fight this weekend. I kind of was expecting that look on your face, because when Manny Pacquiao was in his boxing career and he was having a fight, we all knew about it. We all knew it was coming. And this was out of the blue. Suddenly, Manny Pacquiao's fighting this weekend? Oh, weird. This was a exhibition match. He's retired, okay. This was an exhibition match against a YouTuber. The guy's name is DKU, and when the fight reached its 6th round conclusion, they had 6 2-minute rounds. They said, and the winner is both of you, and they put their hands up. They were happy that it went to the judges, but they didn't judge it. There was 2 knockdowns in the fight, one in the 4th and one in the 6th by Pacquiao. But yeah, he's not the same old Manny Pacquiao. He shouldn't be fighting. He probably got quite a bit of money to beat up this YouTuber, but I was expecting to see a look of surprise on your face when I said he was fighting this weekend.
Yeah, like at first I was like, "What are you talking about? Like, why?" Like honestly, it's like why is he fighting? Why does he need any more money? Like he was in one of the most lucrative fights ever against Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah,
like he should be like fine, like forever.
Yeah. For some reason, boxers, they get so addicted to it, they can't get out of it. They retire. I think they're probably the career that retires the most and comes back, and retire and come back, retire and come back. He got on the microphone and said he wants to fight Floyd again. He also would like to fight Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. He said, hey, I could give him a test. Just give me a chance. I could give him a test. He's calling out those 3 guys. He probably would have faded off into retirement if he won his president bid for the Philippines. He lost, and now he's like, oh, now what the heck am I going to do? He retired in just August of 2021 after he lost to Yordenis Ugas. He's 43 years old, and hopefully we don't see him much. These exhibitions, okay, maybe, but Like, we don't want to see him fight Mayweather again. We don't want to see him fight Bud or fight Spence. He's done. It's time to fade off and do something else.
Yeah, it's time for him to ride off into the sunset because he deserves that. He's earned that. He's a future Hall of Famer. And also, too, let's be honest here, Errol Spence and Bud Crawford are looking at him going, yeah, no, we're not fighting you.
No, do not do it. Some sad news. Longtime referee Mills Lane passed away on Tuesday last week. He was 85. We all loved it when he got in there because he said, "Let's get it on." And he was always super fun to watch in there with the combatants. His most famous fight was probably the Tyson Holyfield ear-biting night. And he had to call it off after Tyson repeatedly chomped part of Holyfield's ears off. But I can't even believe how many fights I've seen with Mills Lane in the ring. And one of those amazing decade-long referees that was such an incredible guy to have out there, and just made you feel like it was a big fight if he was there.
Yes, iconic, and he'll be sadly missed. But he really brought out the excitement in the fight because he knew once if he was in that, he was a part of that. That's a big fight.
Yeah,
it's a big
totally. Okay, turn to the NBA. Another legend passed away this weekend. Yesterday, we lost Paul Silas, 79 years old, three-time NBA champion. His son, Steven, is the current coach of the Houston Rockets. He had a really good NBA career. He was always a defensive stalwart, named to the all defensive team many times. Won 3 titles, 2 with Boston and 1 with Seattle as a player. Then he went on to coach. He was LeBron James' first coach in Cleveland. He also coached the Clippers in San Diego before they moved to LA. He coached the Charlotte Hornets before they moved to New Orleans. Then he went back to Charlotte and coached the Bobcats before they changed their name. And he was around the game for 40-something years, and a lot of amazing tributes and nice words were sent out via social media over the weekend. His son was taking a leave from the Rockets. John Lucas will serve as the interim head coach in the meantime as they put him to rest. And great guy from all accounts. I remember speaking to him over the years, and this was a genius in the game and a guy that everybody looked up to.
Yeah, he meant so much to the game, and he gave so much to the game. He'll be sorely missed, and he helped mold a lot of the players that they're playing now and have been there before, now retired. So he's definitely put his stamp on the NBA.
Yeah, he sure did. Yeah, he was great. Okay, just a couple of things. Joel Embiid was the Eastern Conference Player of the Week, led the Philadelphia 76ers to a 2-1 record, had another 50-point game, and averaged 43.3 points per game, 10 rebounds a game, shot about 64% from the field, and didn't score less than 38 points over this past week. Really putting himself as a front runner again in that MVP conversation. He now sits first in the league in scoring and 13th in rebounds, and dominating performances really lately.
Yes, and especially even yesterday against the Hornets. Like you said, 53 points, 12 rebounds. That's just huge. He's been having huge numbers, and leading the 76ers.
Yeah, that was his 9th such honor. 9 times he was named the Player of the Week. That ties some legends of the game: Dominique Wilkins, Dikembe Mutombo, Chris Webber, and Jason Tatum all have 9 Players of the Week. That's 17th on the all-time list, if you ever keep track of those things. Western Conference Player of the Week is Zion Williamson. He has led New Orleans to actually the #1 seed in the West. They have won 7 games in a row, and he has looked phenomenal. Brandon Ingram has been out with a toe injury, and Zion has taken over now. This is the first player of the week honor for him. He averaged 33 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists per game, and shot about 70% from the field. Really living up to that number 1 overall draft pick after some tough years being injury prone. He's the reason why they are the number 1 seed.
No, he's looking incredible. He's looking awesome. And the team, the Pelicans as a team, are playing very, very well. Very well.
Yeah, they've put in a lot of amazing players there. And the other Eastern players that were nominated were Jared Allen, DeMar DeRozan, Buddy Hield, James Randle, and Franz Wagner. All good, incredible weeks. In the Western, players were Luka Doncic, Rudy Gobert, Nikola Jokic, and John Morant. All superstars there. The Raptors, I watched the games over the weekend. They had back-to-back losses against the woeful 6-20 Orlando Magic coming into this weekend. Raptors lost both of them. Franz Wagner had 34 points, and Paolo Banchero had 23, 6 and 4. Looked really good on Friday. I was super impressed with him. And the Raptors, I don't know what happened, but they lost back-to-back against the Magic, and the Magic are supposed to be one of the worst teams in the league this year. And I don't know what happened to Toronto, but those were not good losses.
No, those were not good losses. Their defense really failed them against the Magic. I thought that was definitely their weak point in both losses.
Yeah. OG Anunoby had missed this last game with the hip injury and possibly could miss a few games this week. The Raptors host all 3 games this week in Toronto. The Kings on Wednesday, the Nets on Friday, and the Warriors on Sunday. Speaking of the Warriors, that game yesterday was the Golden State against Boston. No, sorry, that was on Saturday night. That was the rematch of the final that we just witnessed back in June. It was super fun, really, really fun game. Warriors really wanted to put a beating on them. They did. The Splash Brothers were both good on Saturday. Clay had 34 and Steph had 32. It's actually only the 14th time since those two guys have been together where both guys had more than 30 points on the same night, which is pretty bizarre. I didn't realize that was a thing. Most times one guy's going off and the other guy's not. All 14 times that's happened, they've won the game. But that was kind of a surprising stat that I noticed.
Yeah, no, that is quite surprising. But the great thing to see that I've noticed so far with the Warriors is that Clay is beginning to come back. He's beginning to round back into the form that he had before all the crazy injuries that he suffered over the last couple of years.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So, for me, NBA was fun to watch over the weekend. I got catch quite a few games, and NFL's, most of my focus, UFC, World Cup, all this stuff, but NBA is still in full swing, and we're heading into week 9 already.
I know. It goes by so fast. And again, like once our Christmas break starts, the one thing that I always look forward to is watching those Christmas games with the NBA.
Yeah.
So I look forward to that. I really do.
Me too, man. Me too. Yeah. Well, fun podcast. Lots to cover. It was great. Man. Enjoy. I hope your week goes super fast. I hope you have some fun things planned to get together with some friends and family. And I guess let's chat through the week as it goes along.
Yeah, definitely. We'll keep in touch, and I hope the same for you. And I hope your week goes as quickly as mine does, which is fast.
Nice. Okay, bud. Cheers. All right. Have a good night. Thanks.
All right. Thanks.
Okay. Good night.
Night.
Okay. Well, thanks, guys. I think we pulled in a little less than 2 hours. So appreciate you sticking in. Love your support. As always, go to our website, support our partners and sponsors. We've got Anchor.fm, Verbero, Forever Living, and Pampas Impossibilities. All awesome things. You can get to our website and get some products at discounted rates. Thank you for your support. Appreciate it. Keep tuned in. Over the holidays, we're going to have a few extra podcasts. And definitely in the new year, we're going to start having them fast and furious in all sports. So, keep tuned in. Tell your friends, tell your family, and love you lots. Take care of yourself. Bye for now.